If you're planning a trip to Italy, this is the only video you need to help with all of your planning, all of your organizing, and all of the practical do's and don'ts that you're going to need for your trip. These do's and don'ts cover everything from packing and transportation, food and culture, and will make your trip so much smoother, less stressful, and way more enjoyable. I learned some of these the hard way, so you don't have to. And if you want to see how I actually put this into practice, my Italy vlog is coming right after this video. Section number 1 has everything to do with packing and prepping for your trip. The first thing and the number one thing you do not want to do is overpack for a trip to Italy. Don't think that you should be bringing more than just a carry-on and a backpack. You saw my last video how I was able to fit everything in those 2 bags. That was all I needed for the whole trip. Do not bring a checked bag on this trip. The amount of cobblestone, the lack of elevators, the elevation, the climbing, the hiking, just to get to Airbnbs alone is going to be too much. What you do want to do, pack light, bring comfortable shoes, i.e. some sort of like stylish sneaker that can go with your 2-piece outfits. The comfort is going to save you in the long run. Another do when it comes to packing is make sure you have travel size containers. That way you can accommodate all of your skincare necessities, all of your hair care, all of your body care, and have it consolidated into one pack. And also making sure that you have the packing cubes to maximize the space in your suitcase. I'll link the ones for both the travel size containers that I use and the packing cubes in the description below. Another do when it comes to packing and prepping is making sure that you are packing for the time of year that you are going. If you're going in the summertime or if you're going when they say it's going to be hot, it's going to be hot. The least amount of clothes, the better. You will be hot. I thought I was going to be able to fit in multiple outfit changes a day and I was quickly mistaken. So I do recommend 1-day outfit, but plan on wearing that day outfit for the entire duration from the moment that you wake up and leave until you come home, unless you know that you're going to come back to change for dinner. So make sure you have 1 outfit per city per day that you're comfortable in, that you can walk in, that you're not going to feel overwhelmed. It's not going to feel too heavy on the skin. Another don't when it comes to the packing and prepping for this trip, do not forget to pack your adapters. Italy has a different type of outlet than we have here in America, so make sure you get one of those. You can accommodate all of your chargers, all of your beauty hair products like straighteners, irons. I covered a lot of what I was bringing in that last video, in my Pack With Me video, so I will link that for you guys as well to kind of show the process of putting everything together. I don't regret just bringing the carry-on in my backpack, knowing how much I trucked around. This brings us into section number 2, which is all about transportation. The way we structured our itinerary was we flew into Naples. In order to get from city to city, we took trains. So we took the high-speed train from Naples to Rome, Rome to Florence, and then from Florence back down to Naples. These are fast, these are efficient, and they are very affordable. My number one thing when it comes to transportation is booking your trains in advance. They will be the most affordable that way. Popular destinations tend to sell out the closer that you get to that date and time that you're looking to maneuver between cities. I use this website called Italo, I believe is how you pronounce it. Super fast and efficient. I booked everything about 6 weeks in advance, and in doing so, I was able to actually get a discount off of my tickets because I was booking 1 in advance and 2 with more than 1 person in the group traveling together. When I went into the website, all I had to do was click the date, how many people were going, where we were coming from, and where we were going to, and it gave me a list of different time frames, how long the train would take, the prices, whether or not you wanted to be in a specific class within the trains. This website made everything super easy and efficient to book everything that I needed to. With regard to the train, all of those major cities have train stations. One thing I do recommend is allowing yourself at least 30 minutes prior to your scheduled time of departure, because this will give you adequate amount of time to navigate through the train station, get yourself a little snack, kind of get the lay of the land, make sure you're super comfortable. Another thing to keep in mind is they don't list where the gate is until about 15 minutes prior to departure. So you can't really do much until you're in that window anyway. So just something to keep in mind to give yourself adequate time. Another transportation tip I do recommend is making sure that all of your tickets are validated. Now this pertains more to the local buses and trains, not ones that are pre-booked in advance. Now your local trains, think like New York City subway, the ones that are like that, you need to make sure that you're validating your tickets in advance. Now what that means is you're gonna go to a kiosk and you're gonna purchase your tickets. They're gonna print out a card. The main entrance of the train stations, you're gonna put your card in, they're gonna stamp it date and time. They will check randomly for people's validated tickets, and if you don't have yours validated, you will get fined. So I'm gonna insert a little picture of what mine looks like so you have an idea what to look for. Last thing I wanna point out for transportation with regards to inner city travel is do expect to walk a lot. My friend and I were walking roughly 20,000 plus steps a day. Making sure you have comfortable shoes is key because your feet, your back, your neck, everything will be hurting by the end of the day. I do recommend the Dr. Scholl's sneakers. I will insert a photo here and I will link the ones that I purchased down below. These were lifesavers. They are really cute on, they're super stylish. They were very comfortable. They looked good with all of my outfits, even like the two-piece sets that I brought. So I highly recommend those. And my feet were the only thing that really weren't hurting by the end of each day. All right, moving on to section number 3, which is eating and dining culture in Italy. One thing that you should be doing while you're over there is embracing long, leisurely meals, especially dinners. Dinner is meant to be embraced and enjoyed with the ones that you love. In America, we are so used to rushing everything. We want convenience and we want it quick. In Italy, mostly everything that you get to eat is prepared fresh daily or prepared fresh on the spot, and those good things do take time. One of the first big dinners that we had over in Italy was 12 plus courses. We had 4 bottles of wine, cocktails, and we sat for about 3.5, 4 hours, and it was 3 people. So it's very important to understand that you're not gonna have the same convenience culture when it comes to dining in America that you will in Italy. I think that's the beauty of it as well. You should sit and enjoy that time. You should consume with intention, and you should be embracing it with the people that you came there with. There's no reason to rush and scarf down a meal to move on to the next thing when the reason why you're there to begin with is to enjoy that moment, to enjoy that company. I do recommend going in with the mindset that not everything is going to be as quick and efficient as it is here in the US. Tip that I do recommend when it comes to dining and culture is trying regional dishes in each city. In Florence, you want to try Florentine steak. In Naples, you want to try pizza. In Rome, you want to try carbonara. In a city called Castellammare, right outside of Naples, I had something called a grafe, and it is a traditional Neapolitan pastry, kind of like a donut, but like lighter and airier. And they use potato in the dough, which makes it super pillowy on the inside and softer. And then they fry it and kind of roll it in sugar. And honestly, it melts in your mouth. That pastry was probably one of the most amazing things that I've ever had in my life. When we went to Florence to try a Florentine steak, we went to this restaurant called La Giostra, which came highly recommended through a lot of good friends of mine that have already been to Italy and through other research. It's their famous Florentine style steak. Basically, it's a huge T-bone steak grilled over a wood fire with a perfect char on the outside and served rare. So it stays very juicy and very tender. It's one of those must-try dishes when you're over in Florence. This is the way that they prepare their steak. We paired it with a Brunello red wine, and the presentation that they did for decanting the wine and serving the wine was something I've never seen before. It was a really fun experience. So moving on to the other tip that I have when it comes to dining culture is making sure that you book any restaurants in advance. In places like La Giostra or the restaurants that we went to in Positano, they tend to be very popular. I highly recommend giving yourself at least 3 weeks to booking those restaurants because they tend to fill up quickly, especially if you're traveling with more than 2 people. A lot of those restaurants are very intimate and very small. Okay, moving on to section number 4, which is all about local connections and hidden value. And if I have to highlight anything as being the most important tip or the most valuable tip that I have to offer when traveling to Italy, it is this one. I highly recommend hiring somebody who is a local that specializes in curating the best experiences for people coming to their home cities. We had the privilege of hiring a private driver. I ended up doing this through a third-party company. The person that they matched us with, his name is Antonio, and we ended up cultivating a really amazing relationship with him that lasted the entire trip, and we still connect with him to this day. He has his own tourist-based business in Naples, and he curates full itineraries for travelers, which means you don't have to stress over logistics and can focus on enjoying your trip. The benefit of hiring someone local who runs a business like this is that you'll never miss a beat. They know the shortcuts, they know the best spots, and they even help with, reservations and cultural tips. He is such a wealth of knowledge. He can offer so much insight on not just Naples, but in Italy as a whole. He helped us feel safe. He helped us to understand how things work, and more importantly, very trustworthy. He gave me permission to give you guys his information for any of my friends, family, or subscribers that are looking to book a trip to Italy. Please reach out to him. There's nothing better than hiring a local guide and someone that really loves and is passionate about showing people where he's from to help curate your experience. And I don't have enough words to say how much I appreciated the experiences that he provided provided for us and the experience he's going to provide for you guys that utilize him and his services. So again, it's Antonio. His information is going to be linked in the description down below. Anyone that's looking and is even curious about going to Italy, please reach out to him. He's based in Naples. And finishing off with section number 5, which is sightseeing and culture. My number one tip when it comes to sightseeing and culture is booking all of your major tours and attractions in advance. For booking things like the Colosseum, we booked through Crown Tours. Crown Tours makes it really easy to filter through different cities, what types of tours you're looking to do, the price points, and the attractions. Our tour guide was amazing when we went to the Colosseum in Rome. She did not have a gap in her tour the entire time. It was very seamless, it was very smooth, it was very informative. One thing I do recommend, depending on the time of year that you're going, for us we went in August, so I do recommend booking a later in the day tour so you can kind of beat those major sun rays at that noon to 3 o'clock hour. We did ours 4 p.m., which even then was really hot, but it was probably the least amount of hot that you could get. Another thing that I recommend when it comes to sightseeing and culture is explore beyond the tourist spots, side streets, small towns, cafes, looking into different districts within each city to see if there's something that's like a little bit more artsy on this side or a little bit more historical, so you can see a little bit of everything. And depending on the group that you're going with and what their interests are, you guys can curate the best itinerary to those. One thing that we kind of did that I would have done differently this time around was treating this kind of like a checklist trip. In my previous video, I showed you how I orchestrated the itinerary, which was good for structure when it came to like just making sure you knew how to get from point A to point B, but it didn't really leave a lot of room in the middle for movement and freedom to kind of just do things on our own. We booked at least 1 to 2 things every single day, so we were kind of always on go, whereas it would have been nice to have just a little bit of downtime to kind of explore on our own. So that would be one thing. I wouldn't recommend treating the trip like an entire checklist. Kind of go with the flow a little bit more. These do's and don'ts are the difference between just visiting Italy and truly experiencing it. From the food that you eat, through the way that you move through the cities, and the people that you encounter along the way, every choice shapes your trip. So take these tips with you and let Italy slow you down, inspire you, and change the way that you see the world. And if you want to see how I put all of these tips into practice, my Italy vlog is coming next. So hit subscribe and join me for the journey. Thank you, my friends. I will see you in my next one.